8th installment of our Draenora campaign. I'm joined by so many lovely people. Oh, good God, we have so many people here. Look at all those beautiful colors across the bottom of the screen and all those names. We don't really have a lot of time to go one by one, but you know them, you love them, and we also have, once again, joining us, our returning player, the Goodman, Crimson King, Adam.
Hi.
And then our two newest players, just recently added to our long-term cast playing Cornelius, would be the Good Fluff.
Hello.
And Luvash playing Luvash.
Hello. I also have a human name.
He does have a human name. The name of Alex. But before we jump into our show, just a couple of announcements. Oh, we have this beautiful music playing in the background. It's a new track that was specifically composed just for us by my good friend, to be named. Actually, they don't really have any way or any want to be sort of swarmed with people trying to get them to do things. So instead, it's just like a sort of shout out / thank you, as well as some other tracks that had be played tonight that were also composed by them. Very, very, very great music. Like, they're an incredible composer, and we thank you very, very much if you're listening to this right now.
We love you.
We do love you. You're awesome.
The best.
Some other announcements. This is also going to be news, since unfortunately I wasn't able to tell the two new players that if you watched on Thursday, you'll already have known that we are doing our sort of filming a little bit differently. We're cutting off the sort of recording into two parts, one at the start of the break, and then the next part, the part 2 of the episode, starting at the end of the break. Just due to, unfortunately, the way that our editing software is right now and our current ability to edit our videos, we don't have the capability to be making mistakes that can put us upwards of 12 hours behind on our uploading schedule. So this is a temporary fix until we can get everything else in working order. So on Twitch's end, nothing is going to be different. We'll still be here to talk with you during the break. We're not stopping the stream. But on the YouTube end, if you click on the info card in the top right when it pops up, at the end of this first part of episode 8 of Draenora, it'll take you right to part 2, which would be right after the break. I think that's all of the big announcements. There are awesome people here that have awesome socials that you should go and follow. Everybody.
No, some are pretty mediocre.
They're pretty mediocre, but you should show them some love.
Don't follow me.
Follow him. Follow him so much.
Oh, boy.
Everybody.
Follow at Nicholas Guzman.
Follow at Nicholas Guzman 47 because he loves to post like science and history and politics stuff. So if you don't want to look at D&D stuff, then you can go over on his stuff. If you like soccer, you can go to at Delta_Diagoras. He posts soccer stuff.
Follow me anyway.
Follow him anyway, because I'm gonna force him to start doing D&D stuff, and then a couple of other people too. And then mine's pretty easy. It's there. I know a majority of the Draenora Cast Twitters are down below in the Twitch panels, and they will be down below in the video description, with links to each of them. I'm just gonna take another sip of my drink. Does anybody else have any other announcements?
Not that I can think of.
No. Our announcement is we have no more announcements.
Well, thank you for that wonderful announcement.
Wait,
That was a good announcement.
It was a great announcement.
Saturday.
Yes, actually. Yeah, we can say that now because it pertains to the Draenora audience. Next Saturday, there will not be a Draenora session. Instead, one of our players that you love and sort of hate, maybe a little bit, some of you probably, Delta is going to be taking my chair, my seat, and starting to DM the first episode of a new campaign that will be sort of sporadic, but for now will be sporadic, but in the coming future there will be a more regular upload schedule. So we'll have a little sneak preview of that on Saturday of that very first starting session where I actually get to be a player. The other players will also be announced as time goes on over the course of next week. So that's a reason to look on our socials so you can see who gets chosen, who gets selected to take part in this. Also, just a quick shout out to our friends at Spellcast Podcast. Those guys do really, really awesome D&D stuff. They're really cool. So you should go and listen to them if you already listen to us, because they're cool. But I think that's everything out of the way.
Yeah. Wonderful.
So, then, without further ado, I believe it's time for Last Time on Draenora D&D. Our heroes, after recently returning to Eleanor after being scattered for so long across the multiple lands of the continent of Draenora, reconvened at the Silver Dragon Inn, meeting some new faces, both new people and new faces on people they already knew, as well as a few extra surprises concerning a rather interesting fellow by the name of Cornelius, who made his way to the Silver Dragon Inn and met with the party. Revealing himself to be an Aasimar, attention was drawn to Sterark. Though, one trait about Aasimars is that whenever they have come into a new area, it's usually seen as both a sign of good graces to come, but also bad times, as Aasimars are the subtextual omens of dark tidings. And such possible dark tidings were revealed earlier that day as Kalos, Emery, and Sterark had left the Silver Dragon Inn after using the forged documents created by Emery after toiling for weeks and dedicating himself to learning how to create forged documents. Traveled to the market district in search of a very specific blacksmith upon the request of Sterark. From oh so long ago, the man who had supposedly created the golden rapier Aethog. Upon returning to the same area within the district from where the blacksmith had sold this rapier, instead was met with a somewhat elven, younger male by the name of Gentham. And it was revealed that the previous blacksmith had moved to the southeast plains, more of the farmlands, to live out his true dreams as a farmer with his new wife. This news saddened Sterark slightly. Meanwhile, Kalos, wandering around on his own, went up to a purple-robed figure. On such robe was a golden maple leaf adorned on the center of the back, along the square of the back. Tugging on the robe caused a sort of greeting that was not so happy to come his way. Upon looking into the hood of this cloak, Kalos was met with nothing but an empty void, a darkness, nothing that could be seen or even recognized as any sort of face or head. And emerging from this darkness came a shadowy silhouette, followed by black ichor tentacles, that then proceeded to asphyxiate Kalos in this horrific display. among other horrors taking place, Kalos then collapsed to the ground after fleeing from such terrifying sights, causing the rest of the party to return to the inn, where they had then upon met Cornelius. Meanwhile, on the other side of the walls of Eleanor, a somewhat interesting folk had recently acquired papers to enter and freely move around the city. This large, cat-like humanoid creature, a tabaxi, made his way to the Rusted Flagon, an inn in the eastern slums, whereupon he met a small girl who at first was timid, then later in that night had tasked this new comer, Luvash, with finding a friend of hers after receiving some grim news that the guards of the city had been taking the people from the slums and taking them to the castle to never return. Upon making a promise to find this little girl's friend, we changed our scene back to Kalos that night. After having sporadic involvement with a dark, shadowy figure, both while he was unconscious after collapsing to the ground, and that night was approached with an ultimatum by a somewhat powerful, shadowy being, asking, commanding, interrogating Kalos into trying to give the information of where the man named Pops dwelled, or rather, where the Silver Dragon dwelled. And that's where we're gonna pick up. Kalos, you wake up in a cold sweat, and you gaze out. The room is completely darkened. It's the dead of night. You have a sheet over you as you're laying in bed, completely drenched in sweat. What do you do?
Can I make a perception check to see if I see anything in the room? Because I remember when I went to bed, there was the figure.
Make a perception check. Or rather, an investigation check.
Investigation, okay.
Since you're trying to look for something specific rather than a general. Once again, call it out.
15, sorry.
So, you gaze around the room, and there doesn't seem to be anything too out of place. The sort of smaller table off to the right with its accompanying cushioned chair that's about 2 or 3 feet from where the bedpost is. There doesn't seem to be anything too out of place. Nothing that sticks out to you that wasn't there before, from your recollection.
Yeah. Alright, I guess just for the sake of checking, I'm gonna see what's downstairs in the inn. Or in the bar portion.
Are you trying to be... Whoops.
No, I'm not trying to be stealthy.
Okay. That's gonna look really funny on the capture. I accidentally just grabbed the layout and moved it. Okay. You head down into the inn, and you make your way down the stairs. It's gently sort of illuminated by these sporadic candles within these small little glass containers, sort of positioned on the walls. And as you make your way down the stairs, you kind of look over and you see Pops.
Okay. Anything else? Like anything out of the ordinary?
Make a perception check.
Okay. A 15.
There doesn't seem to be anything out of the ordinary from your several weeks spending in this establishment.
Note, can I tell if this is the real Pops or Robo Pops?
You've never been able to tell the difference, no?
Okay. I'm gonna try my luck, and I'm gonna go up to the counter. Does he have any visible reaction?
No.
Okay. Just for good measure, I'm going to say, "Hey, Pops." Just kind of like waving my hand at him a little bit, just because. Yeah.
Pops is staring straight ahead at the door. Doesn't move.
Okay. Again, for good measure, I guess I'll go back and I'm gonna tap him on the leg.
You feel his leg. He isn't moving. It's not like your hand passes through as if it was some sort of illusion. You feel the physicality of his leg.
Yeah, I just wanted to see if this is real Pops. Because I feel as if he would have reacted.
Just another thing, as soon as you kind of, well, you really don't need to lift the to lift it up, but you do, because you've made the mistake once of, as soon as you try and walk underneath it to duck your head, you're met with a solid wall. That doesn't seem to be there, and once you lift it up even just slightly, the wall drops, and then you see yourself kind of walking, opening the door and going behind it.
Yo, that's cool.
And then the door closing.
That will never cease to amaze me. All right. For one final good measure, I'm gonna say, "Hey, Pops, are you okay? Do you need help, Pops?"
You still get no response.
Yeah. At this point, I'm guessing this is Robo Pops. And okay, so is there? How many people are there in here? Like, is there anybody other than Pops?
Yeah. There is.
Who's in here?
Buck Wild. Wild Buck. Buck Wild. Sitting in the corner.
Huh. Okay. I feel like it's too late in the night to talk about that. Talk about what I want to talk about. I'm just gonna try to go up and try to finish my sleep.
All right. You do so. Is there anything else you want to do in the night?
I don't think so. If I can sleep undisturbed, I think that'll be everything.
Okay. So, you find yourself back in your room, and as you try and shrug off any sort of eeriness that had enveloped you earlier, you find yourself in a somewhat restful sleep. The next morning rolls around. The first to awaken is Cornelius. Cornelius, you find yourself alone in your room on the second floor of the Silver Dragon Inn. with your armor kind of positioned off to the side, draped over the smaller table that's a few feet from the bedpost. What do you do?
And there's a window in my room.
There is.
I'd like to take a look out over the city.
It's raining. A gentle rain that leaves a small fog on the window. You're immediately greeted with an outlook that has the beautiful, beautiful image of a brick wall. And as you look down into a smaller alleyway, it seems to be rather empty. It is somewhat near dawn. Probably much too early for any other patrons of the inn to be stirring at this hour. What is your next course of action?
I suppose I'll work on donning my armor and head down to the bar area.
So as you place your armor back on your body, you make your way down the hallway, the light barely pouring in from a window at the far end of the hall. As you make your way down the somewhat moss-covered wooden stairs with many cracks and creaks, you gaze over the kind of barrier of the stairs and you see the barkeep of white hair standing at the bar, sort of wiping it down with a stray cloth.
I will motion a greeting towards him.
He acknowledges your presence, but then continues with his task. Not saying a word.
And even though it is too early, are there any patrons around?
Yes. A fellow that you had spotted the night before in the corner of the room who had ordered a completely furred bear claw, the claw of an actual bear, sitting in the corner. I will have an image on screen shortly.
Interesting.
Buck Wild has his own image now?
I'll actually go towards the bar. And I'll approach the white-haired figure.
You should have control of your token. As you make your way towards the bar, the barkeep kind of looks up from his station, kind of tracks you with his eyes for about a second, and then begins to reach underneath the sort of bar portion. And as you take your seat, he pulls from underneath the bar this sort of silver platter with a few bits of food, a couple of eggs, some mushrooms, a bit of jelly, and a couple of sausages.
And he's just sort of holding it, or is he putting it down onto the bar?
No, he's placed it in front of you as soon as you've taken your seat.
Ah, thank you. Although I did have a question, if you don't mind obliging me.
Depends what it is.
I was just wondering, I was curious about Mr. Starak, was it? You know when about he'll be down here?
It's too early in the morning for anyone to be getting up around and around except for you and that sir over there. Maybe another few hours or so.
Ah, I see. Thank you. I just wanted to speak with him about a couple of things is all.
Enjoy your meal. And he sort of begins to reach down and almost seemingly disappear behind the bar, and you hear the rustling of a couple of things.
Interesting.
For everybody else in the inn, you're also now part of the scene to do as you please. If you feel you'd be awake at the break of dawn.
You see, I feel like I probably would just because I've worked there for all that time, you know? I might be on work schedule.
Up to you. Everybody who is in the inn, I should clarify if I didn't already.
As they're deliberating, I'll kind of pull myself aside to kind of attune and speak with my guardian during this time.
All right.
Functionally, just kind of preparing myself for the day and whatnot.
Wait, so you're gonna go into that state?
Yes.
Okay, make a religion check.
Ooh.
That's an 18.
All right. You put your arms out in front of you and interlock the fingers, kind of leaning back, and as you shut your eyes and the image of the bar in front of you begins to kind of wash over as your eyelids shut. After a few seconds, the darkness is replaced by a small bead of white that begins to grow slowly at first, then rapidly as you find yourself being enveloped by it. And shortly thereafter, you are greeted by some sort of voice that rings out. What is it that you seek?
I do apologize for bothering you like I do. I'm just here to ask for your continued guidance. There wasn't much to do on the road, but I fear I might need more direct assistance as the days go on.
You begin to speak out, and something odd begins to happen. The light begins to flicker like a candle in the wind before completely fading away. And you're just met with the same darkness. This has never happened before.
Distressing. and I'm unable to kind of bring the light forward as I have before.
You concentrate and focus for a moment, and you feel that connection, that sort of link beginning to form before suddenly and rapidly, almost as if in a swift motion, it's broken. And every time you try and make that connection, instead of getting that brief moment of tranquility, instead it feels like as if your hand was touching a wall as you reach out mentally. Kalos, you're awake now.
Okay. Is there anything peculiar in my room?
Nope.
Okay. Because now I'm checking for spookies.
Every time.
Gotta check under my bed. Yeah, I'm gonna go downstairs.
And we'll say, for the sake of expediency, you continue to try and do this for about another hour or so, and Sterark, you are awake as well.
Cool.
Nice. All right. So, do I see? Firstly, is Pops there?
Yeah.
What do I see him doing?
Wiping down the counter, and you see Cornelius enjoying some food.
Okay. Yeah, this seems pretty urgent. I'm gonna go back behind the counter again. Firstly, does he react?
He acknowledges your presence as you approach the counter.
Yeah. Okay, well, that's good.
So as you lift it up a little bit to kind of go underneath it, you're met with the same, as you so have named it, the hologram of yourself. Kind of walk behind the door.
Okay. So seeing that he acknowledged my presence, so I'm hoping this is the real Pops. I am going to tap his leg again, and I'm going to say, "Hey, Pops, I need to speak with you in private."
He's going to look down at you, and he's going to say, "You're on the clock."
This takes precedent over that. Like, this is something important. Like, very important.
Kalos, you are on the clock. Make an insight check.
Okay. 14.
You notice when he repeats himself that it's not out of like anger or being upset, but it's rather a look of understanding.
Mm-hmm. Okay. All right. So, you know what? I'm going to make my way to the Enclave for now, and I'm just going to use the guys because I'm sure Cornelius saw me go behind the counter. I'm going to just say, yeah, you're right. I just need to go get something from the back.
All right, and you begin to make your way down to the Enclave, and you, Starark, emerge from sort of the threshold of the stairs as you see Kalos walking behind the door, and spot Cornelius enjoying his meal.
Wait, do I see the Kalos hologram or Kalos?
You see Kalos walking behind the door.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and take a seat to the left of Cornelius. And I'll sit down right here. Right here.
You can move yourself.
Oh yeah, that's right. I forget these things.
As soon as you begin to approach the counter of the bar, you see Kalos come out from behind, carrying some sort of sack, goes over to the pile of sacks, and places another one there, and silently reaches underneath the bar in sort of this unseeable compartment from your perspective, and reaches up to kind of slide a plate over in your direction of eggs, a couple of mushrooms, some sausages, and jelly.
I'll thank him and begin to eat.
All right. And then after that, you see Kalos walking with a similar platter over to Buck Wild in the corner.
Is Buckwild okay? Is he just awake? In the corner?
Were you studying him as you were making your way over to the bar?
I mean, I'm sure I was looking around to see how many people were up.
Yeah, you saw him out of the kind of peripherals as you were making your way through. There we go. There's the Buckwild image.
Oh my. What a dashing young lad.
What a handsome man.
I guess I'll follow Kalos with like my peripherals
Okay.
until he gets out of sight, and I'll continue eating.
All right then. If there isn't anything that's gonna happen above ground, we will make our way below ground to Kalos. You make your way past. If you'd like, you can have an exchange with the Etten.
Nah, I don't. I'm urgent right now.
So you say the bare minimum of what you need to, as you're questioned, as you always are. Who is it?
I think it's the small one. I can smell him.
And then you just, hellos, make your way through. And they're sort of like berating you, like, where are you going?
I'm just not gonna. Wait, you know what? I'll say. Where else? To the Enclave? Oh, that was my dog.
Well, I can't see that.
And
I mean, where else would I be going? I guess.
You don't get any kind of response, and the two start to bicker between each other, like,
Yeah, where else would he be going?
you asked the question. And they're like,
You're an idiot.
you asked. And they just keep on going back and forth, back and forth.
Good grief.
And you kind of press all the sort of little notches in the wood of the wall and continue to make your way down until you come upon the Enclave. Emery, what are you doing?
I'm gonna probably be eating breakfast.
Okay, so you look out, and the only people who are currently in the Enclave are actually Dimitri and Emery.
Okay.
So you make your way around this sort of pool of water. And so you get to sort of the floating wood platform along the side of it. Floor is yours, gentlemen.
Okay. I suppose I'm just gonna. Okay, so. Oh, wait. Never mind. I was about to say it's a completely different person. Emery is sitting at the bar, I'm guessing, eating?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I'm just gonna sit next to him, and I'm just gonna look over. Just simply say, I'm just waiting for Pops.
Okay.
Why are you waiting for Pops? Says Dimitri.
It is a, you could say, life and death matter, I suppose.
Well, I know it's a little too early, and he's going to reach underneath and pull a flagon. And he's going to say, but you look like you've had a long night.
I think I've learned from past mistakes.
What mistakes?
Nothing. No, I'm just gonna shake it off.
Make a deception check.
Oh jeez. Oh jeez.
Oh no.
Lightweight. 18.
Fucking rogues, man.
Haha! Plus 10 deception.
I'm not even a rogue and I'm a bit higher.
Rolls a 20 on insight.
Dimitri's actually really good at these kinds of things.
Oh.
He's going to pour a cup of some sort of brownish liquid and put it in front of you. I'm not going to ask.
It's a bit early, Dimitri. I just call out across the room.
Across the room? I thought you were at the bar.
Well, yeah, but like, well, yeah, I mean, like across the bar.
Doesn't look like he's gotten much sleep. He hasn't started his day yet, so it's still yesterday.
I guess that's fair.
And if it is really a matter of life and death, then there's nothing like a good drink to calm the nerves.
You know what? I'm gonna take a small, keyword small, sip.
So a big gulp.
No! Just gonna
down
chug
it.
the whole thing. That would kill me. My blood alcohol level would be through the roof.
Okay.
A tiny, small sip.
Like a taste test.
Like a...
If you need anything else, don't fucking ask me. My time to eat breakfast. He's going to pull out this sort of pink gelatinous cube.
Ooh.
What a legend.
Is that the...
It is,
giant...
but don't say what it is. That's pre-canon.
Yeah. Also, nice with Sirark's meal. I like it.
And he's just going to sit on sort of one of the stools that's around the side of the bar and just slowly begin to eat his food. Nice.
Okay.
Calm, quiet breakfast. But the silence is like screaming. It's so scary.
Jeez.
There will be an image for Dimitri shortly. So what are the two of you doing?
I'm eating breakfast.
I might stop there with my small sip. Because, I mean, we all saw what happened the last time.
When the DM honestly doesn't remember what happened the last time.
I mean, I got drunk after one shot and then I fell on my ass off the stool.
Oh yeah, that's right. I remember now.
Yeah. I'm just gonna stop with my with my small sip, and um, I'm just gonna wait for Pops, and hope he comes down here in the first place.
Okay. You gonna do anything, Emery?
Nope.
Then we'll go ahead and move over to the east side. Pronounce your name for me one more time. Alex.
Sorry, my Discord was buried underneath 15 pages. Luvash.
Luvash. Luvash, after a rather eventful night prior, you find yourself greeted by a rather sour start to your day as the rain pelts your window.
Oh, I hate the rain. Roughly, can I tell what time it is?
Just make a straight intelligence check.
Sure thing. Ooh, 20.
Yeah, it's around maybe 8:30, 8:40.
All right, so
A couple hours after dawn.
I'm gonna take a good 20 minutes to just stretch and just roll around in my bed, sort of complaining that it's raining out and I don't want to go out, but I also really have to. Then I'm probably gonna go downstairs and get some breakfast.
So this early in the morning, there aren't that many people in the Rusted Flagon, at least in sort of the eating area. The sort of small windows that kind of line almost the top corner of this first floor are being pelted with rain. The rain seems to be getting even stronger than before. And with your past experience in your travels, you know just how bad the rain can get, at least in the eastern portion of Draenora. So you make your way down the steps of the stairs. There's one other patron of the Rusted Flagon sitting there, and you kind of look out for a certain little girl, but she doesn't seem to be around.
Kima's still probably asleep, I'd assume. Is the innkeeper around?
As you make your way around to sort of look to the portion that's kind of concealed underneath the stairs, you aren't met with the same woman as before. Instead, you are met by someone strikingly similar to her in sort of the facial structure, but rather it is not a her, a him.
Oh.
Who is wearing this sort of tabard that has a small little kind of image near like the collarbone that's of this brownish red flagon.
Okay. Well, I'm just gonna approach him and sit down at the bar. Good morning, Hinkeep. Could I have some breakfast, please? Just some meat and perhaps some fruit. And I would also like to know where I can get some informations around the city. Just any place where I might want to go and look to find any type of information that I'm looking for.
Depends on what kind of information you are looking for.
The type of information that you might get in trouble for knowing.
Make a persuasion check.
Yes. I'm not very good at persuading. And 17.
You are somewhat good at persuading.
Well, with a straight 17, anyone can be.
So you see him kind of lean over the bar and like look around, and then reach underneath the bar counter and pull out a small folded piece of parchment that has this somewhat yellowish, you could even say golden, imprint of a maple leaf.
Ooh, pretty.
And he's going to slide it your way, and it seems to be sort of kept shut by this just dot of wax.
Okay. I'm
along the side.
Just gonna hide it very quickly in one of my pockets.
Make a sleight of hand check just really quickly.
Oh boy. That natural one, baby.
It's really small. So you kind of fumble with it for a second, just trying to be really delicate with it, and you try and slide it sort of somewhere on your belt, but you kind of drop it, so you have to reach down and you catch it, and it doesn't hit the floor, but you make a really big display. You hear an audible groan on the other side, not too loud, but just kind of.
I'm just gonna pretend nothing happened.
As you were fumbling with that, you heard this sort of clacking and clattering of I guess you could say plates. And as soon as you look back on to the counter, since you didn't specify, it's time to roll some dice.
I just asked for some meat. I asked for some meat and fruit.
Yep.
Please do not give me another cat.
Yeah, but then you get
like
free food.
breakfast meat. Come on, sausages and bacon.
Well, I have specific tables that I'm rolling on. Don't worry about it. Don't worry about it.
All the numbers mean cat except for one.
It just says cat like 20 times.
Exactly.
That would be great.
I went to the one tavern that serves cat in the city.
Just sells
God
cat.
damn it.
It only serves cat.
The rusted cat.
The rustic.
So you look back around, and it seems to be somewhat sorted berries and a small little kind of bits of what you think to be either beef or sausage. You can't quite tell. They're really small and somewhat burnt.
Honestly, I'm not too fussy. As long as it's not cat, I'm fine.
All right.
I'm going to just take a single berry with my very sharp claw and just start eating it, and then I'm gonna keep eating them that way.
Okay.
Just-
About 5 berries in, I need you to make a Constitution saving throw.
Oh Christ! Why do you do this to me? Saving throw here. And another one.
You begin to feel your body starting to lock up as you recognize this berry at the last moment from your travels. It's actually a somewhat frequent delicacy that grows very, very vastly, specifically from the woods that you're from.
Oh boy. And it's not poisonous in any way, is it?
It's extremely poisonous.
Wonderful.
Except you know that it's more of a sort of nerve poison. It's your body begins to lock up, and you sort of fall backwards as the other patron in the first kind of in the eating area begins to come into view. As you're looking up at the ceiling, you see a purple robe that the figure was wearing, with this silhouetted face with two white beady eyes staring down into you. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw. But before you throw it, I need to make sure that if while paralyzed, if you have disadvantage on it or not.
I wouldn't think so.
Neither would I. Yep, just make a wisdom save.
Cool. Natural 1. 7. So in
Still a
total,
failure.
9.
What is your character's worst fear, Alex?
Oh boy. That is a very difficult question to answer. I guess being trapped somewhere without being able to leave. It doesn't necessarily have to be a cage. It can also just simply be a city. Just somewhere where I'm forced to live and I'm not allowed to run wild into whatever situation.
All right.
Just
Suddenly,
the feeling of being trapped, essentially.
the walls around you begin to get closer. You see the purple robe with the two beady eyes sort of piercing the darkness within the hood begin to slowly, at first, what seems like bubble as the fabric begins to expand in certain places, before bursting into sort of this blackish purple smoke until the whole robe follows suit and just becomes this smoke. The ceiling begins to get closer and closer, and you begin to feel a pressure on your sides as you begin to regain control of your body, but the walls have shrunk down and begin to push into you harder and harder as the space tightens. Take.
And I'm dead.
31 points of psychic damage.
Still alive at least.
The walls begin to compress and compress and compress as you feel your body tightening until it passes through you and you're just surrounded by this darkness. You can't tell if your eyes have come shut, if you've even kept your consciousness, as the searing pain of just being squeezed on all angles and this pressure begins to overtake you. It fades. But you still see darkness. You begin to move your fingers, and it seems rather normal. And you kind of feel around in the darkness, and you look down, and you can see your body. You can see your stark white fur surrounded by your various bits of clothing. And you feel around. You're sitting on nothing. And you stand. You can't make out your surroundings, but you feel something beneath your feet to stand on.
This is new. I mean, I've eaten that berry before, but it's never done this. Can I move? Or am I still paralyzed?
You can move. You can move your body here. You can stand right up.
I'm gonna try to walk around a bit, see if I can find anything. And if not, like you said that I can see my body.
Yes, you can.
I'll sort of approach it and poke it a little bit.
I meant as if you were looking down at your body.
Oh, okay.
I didn't mean you could see yourself, but you're just surrounded by a field of dark.
I'm gonna start panicking really badly, and I'm gonna start running around looking for anything, any sort of like literally anything that isn't darkness.
You begin to run straight forward, and you run for about 10 feet before you run face first into a wall. And you collide with it.
Fuck. Can I make an... Do I remember sort of what the layout of the inn was? Just straight from memory.
Make a history check.
So 16.
Yeah, you do. And from where you were, the first floor of the inn was not as large as you just ran straight forward in any of its dimensions.
Okay. Then I'm just gonna keep my hand like on the wall and just sort of run along it and see for how long it goes on for.
Kind of out in front of you or directly to your side?
I'm gonna keep it on my side.
So you kind of feel along the wall, and you said you were running, right?
Well, sort of just a brisk walk.
As you feel along the wall, you feel a corner after about 5 or so feet. And then you put your hand out in front of you, and there's another wall. Nothing that you can see, but some sort of physical barrier.
Where the hell am I? Hey, guy with the bright eyes. Who the hell are you? Where am I?
You get no response.
Then I'm gonna keep doing the same thing, keeping the wall on my side and start walking, see if I can find anything.
You try to walk forward, but you're immediately met with another wall, as if you had walked into a very small alleyway.
I don't like this. I don't like this one bit. Can I, like, touch my body? Like, do I feel my actual physical body?
Yes, you do.
Can I take my bow out and sort of making sure that I have the 2 walls that I just ran into and my sides?
I have all of your
And-
equipment.
Yeah, so I have 2 walls on my side and 1 on my back. I'm gonna just shoot an arrow right in front of me. See if I can find how long this, I assume, corridor or maybe room or cage goes on for.
You knock an arrow and you try to fire it, but it gets stuck midair, just inches away from where it was fired after barely leaving your bow as it collides with a wall from the direction you just came from. Now suddenly, much closer.
I'm gonna take my flute out and I'm gonna start playing to try to calm myself a little bit.
There is no sound that comes from your flute.
What the actual hell is going on? I'm just gonna sit down sort of in a fetal position. I'm gonna keep my hands on the wall and I'm just gonna keep touching the walls, even though I know that there's nothing on them. Just sort of hoping that something changes. And I start crying a little bit.
You keep your hand on the wall as you come closer to the ground, and you feel it, your arm being pushed closer towards your body again, as fear just starts to kind of creep up on you. And you get this feeling and this overwhelming sensation of dread as you think you're about to feel that same crushing pressure as you just did before. And
Getting Star Wars flashback.
just as it begins to press your body again, you close your eyes to kind of like brace for the pressure, and you open them, and you're sitting on a stool at the bar, and the innkeep from the night before is sitting there. Rather not sitting, but is behind the bar standing. What can I get you?
Without saying a word, I'm just gonna look around for a second, and I'm gonna try to find the little piece of paper that the other guy gave me.
There is a piece of paper in where you had stored it, and you look around, kind of getting a brief look of the room, and there's nobody else in the room except, oh, well, to your right in the kind of eating area, but as you do a full scan of the room, you see Kima sitting in the same spot that she was the night before.
Okay. Oh, weird. I'm gonna just say to the innkeep, excuse me, roughly what time is it right now?
It's about 10:30 at night.
So
It's about
I know that
10:30 at
this-
night.
I know that this might.
It's about
be a bit of
10:30
a-
at night.
Oh,
It's about
it's not
10:30
open,
at
is it?
night.
Damn it.
It's about 10:30 at night.
I'm gonna try to walk outside.
You open the door and you're met with the same field of darkness. It's about 10:30 at night. As you walk a little bit further away, the voice begins to sort of grow distant. It's about 10:30 at night. About 10:30 at night. Till it's completely gone. And you feel something tugging on sort of the back of your leg.
I'm quickly gonna look.
You see Kima.
Oh, hello, Kima.
Hi.
What can I do for you?
I'm sorry.
You're sorry for what?
This.
And as you look down at her, the sort of brown hair that she had before begins to, starting at the roots, kind of shift and fade into this stark black. Her skin changing from this sort of delicate, lightish brown color instead becomes slightly blue, and the brown eyes that you saw before begin to sort of, starting at the white of the eye, just begin to wash over with this black film. And the hair starts to have this sort of blue tinge to it.
I'm gonna take a couple of steps back. What in the hell are you? Oh, dude, don't make me fight a vampire. Come on.
What are you talking about?
There's still darkness around me, I assume.
Yeah, you turned around to try and look at the interior of the bar, but there is no bar.
What in the hell are you?
He just begins to kind of lean over with this horrendous laugh.
See, you asked me what my character's biggest fear is, but you didn't ask what Alex's biggest fear is, and it's children. Especially evil children.
It's too bad you missed the the pre
Yeah, the pre-canon.
yeah. Oof.
I'm really glad that I did.
Yeah, Nakan had to chop some
Anyway,
kids.
Yeah,
that's all pre-canon.
there was like an army of these people.
So,
Anyways, I'm gonna point my bow at her, like, straight away.
make a strength saving throw. Well, actually, not a saving throw. You can either make an acrobatics or an athletics check.
She has a picture now, guys.
Acrobatics. Ooh, 24.
As you kind of try and move your arms, you see your arms are starting to be restrained by these long black tentacles that seem to be made out of some sort of ichor-like liquid that stains your arms, and you kind of wrestle it free, and it kind of snaps somewhat like vines as you kind of reach for your bow and kind of swipe it away at your legs as you notice it crawling up your body. And as you kind of knock an arrow, kind of looking around and moving all these things around, you aim it at where she was.
Well, no, I'm not actually gonna shoot the arrow. I'm just gonna point the bow at her.
Yeah, she's not there. You're aiming at where she was.
Okay. I'm gonna look around. Do I see her?
You kind of do this full 360, and it's just complete darkness. And you kind of look down at the sort of where you expect the like broken remnants of these vine-like sort of smaller tentacles to be, but instead you see sort of this writhing mass of black liquid.
I'm gonna try my best. I'm gonna take a few deep breaths. And I'm gonna try to calm down. I'm gonna close my eyes for a few seconds. Then I'm gonna reopen them. Hey, lady. What the hell is going on here?
As soon as
Come
you
on,
open
I know
your
you
eyes,
can.
you see on the sort of, just on the edge of your vision, the sort of outline of the little girl.
I'm gonna start walking towards her.
Make another acrobatics check with advantage.
25.
As you're stepping through, you feel resistance at your feet as more and more of this writhing black mass begin to have these tentacle-like protrusions beginning to try and wrap around, but you, with your just swift movements, you move before they can enclose around you as you kind of make your way in the direction, somewhat almost hopping to avoid these very quick vines.
My feline agility.
And as you continue to make your way in that direction, the distance between you and the little girl doesn't seem to be growing, or rather, doesn't seem to be lessening instead of growing.
Come on, lady. I know that you can hear me. Let's not play these games. Just tell me what the hell is going on here.
You continue to move forward, and as the figure begins to get further and further away, the darkness begins to sort of have this ripple motion to it in your field of vision ahead of you, almost like a thin sheet of air is sort of making waves. And as you make contact with this barrier, you step through it, and instead of the same darkness that you had seen before, instead you see the eastern slums of Eleanor completely around you, just as if you had just arrived. But instead of all of these children and people without homes that live on the streets, you see silhouettes of the same people with beady white eyes, replacing where their eye sockets should be. And instead of buildings, all you see are bubbling masses of black ooze outlined by these white lines. And you see at the edge, at the very edge of the street of your vision, the little girl.
I swear to the gods, once I get out of here, I'm going to kick your ass.
And as you continue to make your way through, you begin to feel that sort of resistance along your feet fade, and instead you see these silhouettes of children, almost as if their shadows had stepped up from the ground and began to walk around, begin to move towards you. And along the edges of this street, the sort of larger figures also doing the same.
Come on, what are you going to do? I'm slipping into Scottish. What are you gonna do? Eat me? Like, I can clearly tell that this is not real. So let's just get this over with. I'm gonna start stepping forward by these people coming towards me.
So as you step forward, they begin to move more rapidly, and one thing that you notice is that sort of near where the legs should be is instead this sort of dark smoke. There are no feet, instead just this gliding mist as they rapidly begin to increase in speed in your direction until they're about 2 or 3 feet from you as you make your way forward.
So, what is it going to be?
It's at this point that I'd like you to roll initiative.
Fuck me, dude. I need to get my actual character on the screen though, don't I?
No, not particularly.
Alright.
Imagination fight.
Well,
Grabbing dice.
well, because if my character is not actually on the screen, it doesn't actually.
Don't
get
worry about
added. Cool.
Okay, so there's about 6 or 7 of these, more specifically 9 of these shadowy creatures. About 3 or 4 of them are smaller children-like silhouettes, and the rest larger, comparable to that of older humanoids. And as they begin to make their way towards you, the 2 fastest kind of begin to stick their shadowy silhouetted hands kind of onto your being and attempt to pass through you. as you feel them sort of... It feels almost as if their fingers are like small daggers of ice that sort of just slip into your leg. 20 and 7.
20 hits me, 7 does not.
3 points necrotic damage. And I need you to make a wisdom saving throw.
6. Ouch. It was almost a 20.
So you kind of pull away from the first sort of these little tendrils of cold beginning to try and enter into your leg and immediately move on to another one as its body sort of passes into you and through you, and you just feel this chill go completely through you. What are you doing? It's your turn. Currently, you can see the little girl sitting cross-legged on sort of one of the barriers of a bridge at the end of the street that passes over one of the rivers that runs through the interior of the castle walls.
Oh, I don't know. I'm assuming that the actual cold feeling that I just had from the creature was painful.
Somewhat.
Then I'm gonna take a few steps back. But I'm not going to attack. I'm just gonna try to keep out of range of these creatures. So I'll use my full movement. I guess I'll dash.
So you begin to make your way back towards that sort of threshold of rippling air that kind of separates this section of whatever you're in from the complete and absolute darkness that you were just in moments ago. And as you approach it once again, sort of training your eyes on these shadowy silhouettes, you feel something hard against your back as the rippling has stopped and instead has been replaced with a thick wall of black smog. You've put a good distance between you and the silhouettes.
You could really do with some color in here.
But why?
No. Oh. Well, black is a bit monotonous, don't you think?
So you try and look around to find the source of the voice, and a head, just the floating head, is kind of poking through this smog, just right over your shoulder.
Is this still the pale woman with red eyes?
No. It's
Or is
Kima.
it just Kima? Well, I'm honestly a fan of colors, and all this black is making me kind of sad. I mean, that and the fact that apparently everyone is trying to kill me.
You know, you probably shouldn't have come here.
Oh, believe me, I wouldn't have if I had the choice. But I seem to be trapped in here. Hey, do you know of a way out?
Yeah, I do.
Then could you please point me to it?
I mean, I could. But
And you should.
what can you do for me?
Well, I did say that I would try to find your friend, didn't I?
Oh, she's dead.
Oh. Well, I'm sorry for your loss.
And the face kind of, starting from the right edge, sort of almost out of view, begins to move and like almost like a moon, like changing phases, swaths over into the pale skinned, black and sort of blue tinted haired little girl who still sounds like Kima.
Oh, hey, you're back. So, are you still Kima?
Yeah.
But you look different.
Here. Let's... You said that you like color, right?
I did, yes.
That's too bad. You know, your white fur and the sort of black spots on it. It's so pretty.
Thank you, but I don't like where this is going.
Here. I want you to do something for me.
He's gonna
Hey, let me out. I'll do
outstretch a sort of arm through the smog that sort of gently strokes the fur along your shoulder. And as she does so, the sort of black liquid begins to kind of smear onto you and very rapidly move across your body. And from that or like origination point, you begin to see the sort of color, the sort of white, vibrant color of your fur beginning to invert.
Huh. Is this what you wanted me to do for you?
No. You just look better like this.
I mean, that is just one opinion. Personally, I did like my previous color. Is it me? Well, I was different from most of the people of my kind, and I liked it. Could you please turn me back?
But why? You're so pretty.
Well,
I need you to do something for me. If you do it, I'll change you back. I'll even let you out.
alright, sure.
I need you to find someone for me. Not that. What did I call her? Toya? No, that was a lie.
Huh.
I need you to find this guy.
You see a sort of dark-haired halfling, this sort of walk out of the smog.
I don't recognize him, do I?
No, you don't.
I'll let you out, okay? But if you find this guy, I'll let you leave the city.
Oh, I'm not allowed to leave the city, am I?
I'd like to see you try. I mean, look how easy it was to get you here.
That is fair enough. I didn't think that someone like you existed in a place like this.
Oh, well, I mean, I'm just a little girl. There's not much I could do by myself. If he wasn't helping me, I probably couldn't do this. But if I wanna do more stuff, he wants me to find this guy. He won't tell me why, but he said that if I do, he'll give me even more power.
Oh, who's helping you? I would really like some of the power that you have.
Well, first, I need you to promise that you'll find this guy. Do we have a deal?
Of course, I swear on my life.
Are you lying?
Are you asking me as a DM?
more specifically, I need you to make a charisma check. You don't have to tell me if you're adding deception or persuasion. Just make a charisma check.
Okay. Ouch. Yeah, that's a 4.
This is the first time I will throw an insight in front of you.
Natural 1, natural 1, natural 1.
Wow.
Before mods, though. Because this
Yeah.
person does
She's
have
a
mods.
child. She can't know that much.
I mean,
So-
she is an evil child.
She's literally
Technically,
a evil child.
technically she did beat you, so were you lying?
No, I wasn't lying. I'll find him.
I need you to find him and take him to the castle. You still have that paper, right?
I believe that I do, yes. I'm gonna take it out. I haven't
Open
actually
it.
looked at
Open it.
yet.
Come on.
Okay, I'll take it out. What does it say?
As you open it, all of the darkness around you begins to sort of almost flicker for a moment, and
that little paper. As soon as you're out of here,
kind of like gesturing around to this sort of area of darkness.
where it is in your pocket when you wake up, you'll have papers, so you could go anywhere. You could go to the castle. You could find him.
Okay.
And you will.
So it's essentially just access papers.
Well, when they'll be different when you wake up. There'll be more papers. But you're gonna find this guy. You're gonna take him
I
to the
swore to you
castle.
that I would.
And then you
But-
can go free.
Well, I'm not sure that I want to be free. I mean, you have all this power. I kind of want that.
Well,
How can I get it?
when you take him to the castle,
There's still this sort of image of the halfling that's kind of just looking straight forward.
I mean, he'll probably
Not pointing at him, and kind of putting a little bit of emphasis on he.
he'll probably give you something good. Maybe you can be like me.
Oh, that would be fun.
Okay. So you promised, right?
Of course, I promise. I will find him.
If you break this promise, I'm gonna kill you.
Well, I wouldn't like that.
I'd rather much have a live kitty than a dead one. Though you'd probably make a good rug. Very pretty. Bye!
And sort of the little paper that you're holding out, all of the darkness is suddenly gets sucked into it, vacuumed in this sort of spiral shape, and it's overwhelming in sort of strength. And I need you to make a Constitution save.
Why are you trying to kill me on my second session? It's 21.
You begin to feel this pressure just from the overbearing just winds just pouring down onto you from this sort of vacuuming vortex, and you lose consciousness and you reawaken in your bed. The rain hits your window, and you feel this sort of kind of weight on your side.
Am I still holding the paper?
No, you wake up.
Or do I have it on me?
So you start to look around for the paper.
Yes.
In the place where the paper was, you find out that the pressure on your side is in fact a stack of about 12 papers
Oh,
that look very similar to the papers that you just spent multiple days going through the process of getting, but a lot more of them. Your previous set had about 3. This one is 12.
well, I doubt I'm ever going to need that many, but hey, thank you, demon child. I'm gonna get out of bed. I'm gonna look out the window. Man, I hate the rain. I'm gonna go downstairs.
You go downstairs and you see a lot of the same people from the night before. There's a few of them, but they seem to be wearing different clothing. And you see Kima kind of walking around carrying cups and like putting them on the table.
Hi,
Oh, hello, Kima.
I'm working right now, but a little later, can we go around the city? Yeah. Hey, Mom, can I? Can I go with the cat man?
I'm just gonna quickly look at the mom and just give her a quick shake of the head, just to say no.
You can't see whatever response from your current kind of perspective. But before you even shake your head, you just see Kima kind of look sad for a moment and then keep doing what she was doing and kind of pouting.
Can I make? Thinking maybe either insight or arcana to see if there's anything specifically different about Kima, or if it's just sort of a something that she can't quite control, and like, is she actually aware of anything that's happened?
I'll let you decide what roll you want to make, and I'll give you an answer based on which one you choose.
Perhaps insight would be best right now. And actually, I'm gonna go for arcana right now. I want to see if there's anything weirdly magical. 8. No,
There doesn't seem to be anything too off about Kima. This sort of experience that you just had, you kind of get this feeling that like there's nothing too different about Kima the way she was the night before, at least magically.
I'm gonna go to the innkeeper. I'm gonna sit down at the bar. Could I please have some food that isn't cat? Please and thank you.
Yeah.
And also, if I wanted to look for someone in the city, how would I go about doing that? Is there a specific place where I should go to? Specific people I should ask?
Well, it depends on who you're looking for. You're trying to find someone in particular? There's probably some people who know some more things. You said something that isn't cat. I'll get that right to you though. I'm not quite sure how to answer your question.
Oh, that's absolutely fine. I do have another question though. What are those creatures I've seen? Those hooded figures. I've seen a few of them around the city.
Make a deception
Are
check. Because the only one that you, the only one that you saw.
Hey, not 20, baby.
Because the only one you have seen was the one from just a little while ago.
All right.
So you see her head kind of turn back in your direction just very slowly. Ah, were you?
I stay away from those types.
But you're not me. So could you please answer my question?
They just showed up couple months back. They I don't quite know who they are, but they kind of just walk around in small little groups. There's something not right about them. Something weird.
Well, I figured that much. Well, thank you anyway. I will take some food and then I'm gonna have to go, I'm afraid. So, thank you.
Oh,
I'm just gonna sort of gesture to her just to, get me food.
well, you're always welcome here if you need a place to stay.
Thank you.
And alright. An array of sort of smaller meats, a couple of sausages, like a little small hunk of what you assume to be some sort of pork meat, based off the smell, as well as several fruits, such as like an apple, and even some small grapes, and they all seem to be rather fresh. Whereas, as you were kind of glancing around the room, everybody else was seemingly eating this sort of slop that was in a bowl.
Now, do I recognize anything in particular that might be poisonous?
Make a nature check.
Fuck. 21.
No, this all just looks like normal food. You even like go through the process of kind of draining, like cutting into the apple with like one of your like sharpened claws, and letting the kind of juice trickle out onto a little bit of the meat to see if it has any kind of reaction. Doesn't seem to be any kind of anything off about any of the food in front of you after testing them in different ways.
All right, then I'm gonna have breakfast and then I'm gonna head out. Hopefully I don't get poisoned and dragged into the Shadow Realm.
God, I knew somebody was going to say it. It was unavoidable.
I had to.
It was unavoidable.
Looks like you're going to the Shadow Realm, Jimbo.
Yeah, activated Kima strap card.
So, your soul is mine, Yugimoto. Sorry. You finish up your
Oh,
food.
jeez, Kima. Sorry.
And as you kind of make your way out, Kima says,
Bye.
Goodbye.
And you open the door, and you're back in the eastern slums, and it's actually right there where we're gonna change our scene to the other side of the continent. Dotrin.
Yes.
After recently awakening from a very frightening experience with some no-faced Gortons in a small enclosed room, from what you could tell, you awaken in the same cavern with the torch of everlasting flame kind of off to your side, maybe about 2 or 3 feet, illuminating the space around you.
Okay. I take it the time I spent unconscious did not count as a short rest.
It actually counted as a long rest.
Okay, that's good. That's good to hear. Well, I think before I go, I'm gonna sit up. I'm gonna pull out my Javelin of Lightning and take an hour to bond with the weapon as per the Eldritch Knight feature. If you're not familiar, I can read it to you.
No, I'm familiar. You're fine.
Okay. So yeah, I'll take an hour and do that. Keeping paying attention to the sounds and what I can see as best as possible in that hour.
Just make a single sort of perception check with disadvantage since you're putting a majority of your focus towards the
Right.
process.
Okay. Perception. Where would I be if I were right there? Oh, with disadvantage, that would be 9.
Okay. You're sort of very wary of your surroundings now after this sort of faint memory of terrifying events. And you spend an hour completing the ritual. And there doesn't seem to be anything off about your surroundings.
Okay. When I grab my torch. And if I recall, I couldn't see the walls of this space that I'm in, right?
No.
Okay. I guess I'll continue, I'll go northwest instead of just west this time.
Hold on. Make a nature check for me really quick.
Can do.
Just to get your orientation of the directions.
Right. Oh, that's a 19.
So you would know that west is actually the direction that you are coming from, and you orient yourself with this sort of natural feeling, and the direction in front of you is actually east. So which direction do you wish to go?
Northeast. No, southeast.
Okay.
Yeah, no need to go back to Lothrock right now.
So you continue making your way through. And you kind of take this sort of curve, and after walking for about an hour and a half, you come to sort of this corridor almost, where it reaches into this sort of slight curve that kind of goes to the right. The ceiling kind of descending down into it, kind of funneling into this tunnel almost.
Okay. I can see walls now, I take it?
Yes.
Okay. We're gonna go ahead and draw the long sword with the one hand, the right hand, torch in the left, and head in.
So just for flavor text, you kind of reach down to the sword at your hilt, and you kind of pull it up from the hilt, and as it's completely unsheathed, you kind of flip it up so that way it's pointing forward.
Yes.
All in one fluid motion, just. And you make your way through. You go into the curve, and it begins to get smaller and smaller. And as you look around, you actually begin to see what look like scratch marks. Make a intelligence check, just straight intelligence.
That's a 7.
You can't quite tell what could have made those scratch marks, but they seem to be more frequent, especially along the ceiling, as you continue to make your way through. It actually seems to get a little smaller and smaller to where you have to kind of duck down to continue going forward if you desire.
I think I just want to, use the light that I have to see as far in as I can, and then perception check that.
Go for it.
Okay. That's a 7 again.
So you kind of look out as far as the torch can illuminate in this tunnel, and you actually see where it gets almost into a crawl space's worth of width, but you feel a breeze on your face.
Jeez. Okay. Just like I need to check something before I decide what I do.
Go ahead.
Alright. Okay. I'm gonna get that turtle shell out of my pack, setting down the torch on the floor. Sword. I'm gonna resheath my sword, get that turtle shell, and I am going to use catapult. Choose one object weighing between.
I'm familiar with the spell.
Okay. What I'm gonna do first is I'm gonna toss it 30 feet if I can, or close to 30 feet in front of me.
That's the edge of the torch's radius.
Okay, I'm just gonna try and throw it to the edge of the torch's radius.
And then use catapult to kind of rocket
To
it
shoot
into
it.
the space.
Yeah, just to see if I hear a smashing noise or see if I hear nothing.
That's first of all, take an inspiration point, my man.
Okay.
That was really, really smart.
I don't know how to take an inspiration point. I'm gonna be honest with you.
You click the box on your character sheet.
Okay.
It's kind of like a circle.
I see it. Okay. I really don't want to get squished, man.
So you toss it, and then you use catapult on it once it gets to that max distance.
Yep.
Okay, so you toss it, and then kind of training onto it, you kind of use this sort of motion where you kind of flick at the air, and then it just rockets through, and I need you to make a ranged spell attack.
Oh, goodness gracious. Alright. It's my first time doing a ranged spell attack, so I'm honestly not sure what mods to add to that.
Your spellcasting mod, which I'm pretty sure is intelligence, and then your
Yep,
proficiency.
That's a +2, and then proficiency for
3.
level
So
5. So in total, that would be a 21.
And you masterfully just rocket it through sort of that space, and it goes at the it goes really fast. So almost immediately you hear it just, and then it makes contact with something, and then a couple of maybe a second later, just whatever debris hitting some sort of floor.
Okay. I'm gonna pick up my torch, spin on the heel, draw the sword, walk right on out of there.
No, walking out of the small tunnel space.
Yeah, I'm gonna backtrack here. Looking over my shoulder every once in a while.
All right. Make a perception check.
Can do. That comes to 5.
You don't see anything,
Okay.
but you do hear something.
Goodness.
That's it.
Do I have any idea of a distance or no?
Not with that perception check.
Okay. I'm gonna walk a little quicker. I'm in a race walk.
Okay. As you power walk with your shake weight in your other hand, you you kind of retrace your steps, and kind of curving to the left, you reach this sort of the entrance to this tunnel.
Okay. I guess from here. What does it look like to the south of the mouth of this tunnel?
The south of the mouth of this tunnel?
Yes.
Okay, so I know where you are on essentially a map. So just like to your left, to your right. Like, what do you mean? Use those sort of directions.
Okay, so like if I'm looking right into the tunnel, to my right.
Oh, okay. It's sort of this gradual curve that extends to a wall that goes almost at a sharp angle, in this, just out into the darkness, since you only have 30 feet of vision.
Right. And to my left?
To the left, it seems like it curves a little bit to the left, but it extends for quite some time until
Right.
no more vision.
We'll go to the left.
So, okay, so to the left from facing the tunnel or exiting the tunnel?
From facing the tunnel. So I would exit the tunnel and then take a right.
Copy. So you just tracing along the wall?
Yeah, we're gonna do that for now.
Okay. So you trace along the wall and you walk for about 2 more hours. Every so often you hear something sounding like it's falling. Just
Okay.
as if a rock was kind of dropping along the side of a hill.
Okay.
Something that just makes several impacts. Make a perception check with disadvantage.
Okay.
Feels
That's a
the
14.
worst.
Feels pretty damn bad, man. 14.
Okay. What's your passive perception?
Passive perception, is that just wisdom?
It's on your sheet.
Okay. give me a
Underneath your stats.
Okay, thank you. Passive perception
Should be
is
12. Yeah.
Yep.
It's 10 plus wisdom modifier.
Okay.
So I get surprise attack.
Not. At least I've got the sword drawn. Don't need to spend an action on that.
Okay. So, lashing out of the darkness, you see these thin, sort of grayish, brownish, almost like ropes,
Oh my.
reach out.
If I'm fighting what I think I'm fighting.
You might know what you're fighting, but Dotrin does not.
Dotrin has no idea.
That was almost a natural 20.
That would have been a major bummer. I think that's the attack roll there.
That is it using its attack action, yes. If
Okay.
you just give me a second to pull up its stats.
Yeah.
Okay. Doot 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 doot. You are grappled.
Sweet.
And you are slowly pulled.
Oh, Lord.
You're still make a strength saving throw really quick to see if you can hold on to your torch.
Okay. Strength save. Give me strength save.
Oh, you also have disadvantage, sorry.
Oh, okay. You're good.
Yep.
I'll just throw a second one because I just threw one.
As these tentacle-like ropes begin to wrap around you.
With disadvantage, that's gonna be a 15.
15 is the DC. Feels bad. So yeah, sorry, wrong thing. You're trying to pull away from it, obviously.
Yeah.
But you're able to hold onto the torch as you're being pulled forward. You see one of the stalactites. I think that's the right one of those two. Coming up from the ground as you come closer, you see more of these tendrils kind of coming from it, kind of swaying in the air as teeth and one large red eye is now visible
Mhm.
And I'd like you to throw initiative.
I fucking knew it was a roper. Reading too many Underdark books to know.
Whoa.
Oh wait, that's plus Dex mod. It's not gonna help me much, but
What if I told you I threw a natural 1? I didn't, but what if I did?
no, that'd be fun. With Dex mod, that's a 3.
Okay. So yeah, you are about it's about 30 feet off, and it pulls you closer and closer and closer until you're about 5 feet from it.
Good God. Okay.
It's your turn.
To try and break out of a grapple, can I use athletics?
Athletics or acrobatics?
I'm gonna go ahead and try and break out using athletics.
Sheer force of your manly dragonborn form.
That's what we're going for. That's gonna come out to a 10.
That's gonna be a failure.
All right. And if I try it again, I'll use the same roll, correct?
No, it's different rolls each time.
Oh, okay. I thought for repeated action. Well, you know what? I'll try again.
Oh, well, you make one every turn. Like, it's your
Oh,
full
okay.
turn to try
Okay.
and escape.
Oh goodness. Okay. I'm gonna go. Not yet. Nope. I was gonna say I could use action surge, but I'll hold off on that.
Okay. It's going to pull you closer to its gaping jaw, and it's going to try and snap at you.
Okay.
Wait, am I not a... Oh, whoops. That's going to look weird on the capture. There we go. I just realized I wasn't getting the player perspective. Thankfully, there wasn't anything on the screen. That would
Nothing
mean
important.
that that mistake would make bad things. Okay, so here comes the attack check. I think 25 beats it, right?
25 beats what?
Your AC?
My armor? Yeah.
Oh man, I was almost certain that your AC was 26. So you take. Remember, you're at full health.
Mhm.
Holy shit.
That's a couple.
That's a good chunk of damage.
Right.
29 points piercing damage as it essentially pulls you into its mouth, kind of dexterously turning you sort of sideways to bite into your flank, and you feel its many serrated teeth just pierce into your form.
Okay.
It's your turn.
Well, I think we gotta try and get out of this again. So I'll roll athletics again.
Yeah, I think that 26 is gonna beat my 7. So
Okay. Is that my entire action then?
for the 26, I'll say no, since you really beat that whole thing. So
Okay.
you still have your movement, I would say.
I'm gonna run my full 30 feet away.
Okay. Well, it's gonna try and get you back.
Yeah.
11.
That does not beat my AC.
So you feel sort of this scratch at the end, like at your ankles, as you see multiple of these sort of rope-like tendrils kind of swiping at your ankles, but also darting in front of you, and you kind of leap upwards as they swing underneath you. They kind of go up, sort of like stairs, and you just clear them with a huge, mighty leap. About 8 tendrils just flying past you. Your turn again.
Okay, I'm gonna spend a hit die.
Only during short rests. You can use your second wind though.
Oh, okay. I'll do that.
Okay.
Okay, that's I'll definitely take that. 15.
From your current perspective, while you're holding your torch, you can see 20 feet in front of you is the wall that you were just at.
Okay. mm, I'm trying to decide if I want to if this is gonna be a fight or flight. What the hell? I'll pull the javelin of lightning.
You're gonna summon the javelin of lightning.
Yeah.
So you sheath your sword and you kind of outstretch your arm, and in kind of a flash of blue lightning, it appears in your hand.
Okay. That's I believe action surge is not a bonus action, so that would be both of my actions. Or not action surge, excuse me, second wind. I'm pretty sure that counts as an action. So
It's a bonus action, actually.
is it?
Yeah.
Oh, that.
I'm pretty sure it's a bonus action, and summoning your weapon is also a bonus action. So I'm gonna say that
wow.
you used an action to summon it.
Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and give it a throw.
So you don't want to move from your current position?
Oh heck. Well, let's see. I'm 30 feet from it currently, correct?
Yes.
Javelin is good to what distance? I should have that, but I don't. Just a sec. Sorry about that.
That's fine.
Okay. It's 30 to 120. So I don't think I want to throw with disadvantage. So I'll stay here. I'll throw it from here.
You can't see your target. Well, like, it's just on the edge of, like, your vision from your torch.
Okay.
And when you look back at it, all you see is a series of stalactites.
Okay. Well,
if I may butt in a bit, stalactites are top, stalagmites are bottom.
so which is it, Darius?
Oops, Derek is dead. So
Is it top or bottom?
It's bottom, like along
Okay.
the ground.
Right. I guess so. If I were to move a couple feet toward it, would it be within the range of the torch?
Well, they're all within the range of torch. It's about a series of 4 or 5.
Oh, okay. I just can't distinguish which one it is.
Yeah.
Okay. How far apart are they from each other?
Make a perception check.
Okay. That comes to 7.
From your current angle, you can't really tell.
Okay.
You just kind of see peaks of the formation, the rock formations.
What the heck? I'll try and run in the opposite direction of the.
So there, in front of you, there's the wall that you were just at 20 feet. Are you gonna like run towards it and then follow it for another 10 after that?
Yeah, that's what I'll do.
Okay. So you sprint, and as you're running, nothing really happens.
That's nice. Okay.
Make one more perception check for me before we go to
Can.
break.
$11.
You don't see anything, but you hear
Okay.
And that's where we're going to take our break. For those of you who aren't so familiar with how part 1 is coming to an end, hey, look right there. Boom. Hey, there's an info card that's up in the top right. If you click on that, you'll go to part 2 of this episode of Draenora episode 8. And if you're watching on Twitch, we'll still be here. We're going to be taking about 15-20 minute break. And then we're going to jump right back into it. So any kind of statements before I close off part 1, guys?
Please don't put as many children.
Do not get grabbed by a roper.
Think of
Okay.
the children.
So
I'm
we'll
trying
see you.
not
We'll
to.
see everyone in part 2.